Hi, I'm Sequoiah with Project Tree Collard, and today's video is a slight departure from the usual, which is about tree collards and other perennial vegetables. Today's video is how to grow the best tomatoes in hot, dry climates. Tomatoes go through different stages of development in the long road to becoming mature and ripe. So firstly, the tomatoes need to form blossoms. And if it's over 85 degrees Fahrenheit, any blossoms that are formed are just going to drop off. This is because the heat causes the pollen to become too sticky inside the flower and no natural pollination can take place. It's possible to hand pollinate with a paintbrush or gently shaking the plants, but that's for another video. In the next phase of growth, the fruit continues to grow in size and remains green. This takes 40 to 50 days typically, and my understanding is that during this phase, this will be somewhat put on hold. They might get a little bit bigger, but the plants are in survival mode. They are stressed by the heat, and they're not wanting to grow. Then thirdly, in the last stage, the fruit is full-sized and it's called mature green, and the changes in the pigment begin to take place. This ripening in color is determined by temperature and the hormone ethylene. But over 85 degrees, tomatoes don't produce lycopene and carotene, which are the pigments that are responsible for the tomato colors. However, they can be picked and brought indoors to ripen in the kitchen. It's good to understand the stages of tomato growth so we can pretend or trick the plants into thinking it's less than 85 degrees somehow. And one of the best ways to do that is with shade cloth. Here I use 50% shade cloth, and I built a very strong, sturdy structure so it can move around in the wind and not, get dislodged. You want your shade to hit the plants between 10 and 2 p.m., and you also want to have it well above your cattle panels and your T-posts so that it doesn't get torn when it's windy. And also so birds and insects can come in and have airflow under this structure. So you want to get it tall, which is very difficult, but it's a permanent structure. And you're going to put your shade cloth up probably in June or July, and you're going to take it down probably roughly in September so that the tomatoes can get more sun at that point in time. I used upcycled materials for this whole thing, and my partner and I had to get up on tall ladders to install this. But again, it's permanent structure. So these 4x4 pressure treated posts were here holding up a wall structure. I believe the chemicals probably already leached out into the soil. So I was going to go ahead and use those anyway because they're set in cement already. We used upcycled materials as much as possible. We reused chain link fence top bars to hold the structure up, and we got some 8 to 10 foot T-posts from Craigslist and used paracord to hold this structure up and make it nice and sturdy. It's so much cooler under this shade cloth. It's really unbelievable on a hot day what a difference it makes, and it makes a difference to the tomatoes too. I used to use tomato cages, which were very difficult to take care of the plants and also for harvesting. I switched to cattle panel structures, which have a much larger space for your hand, and I have them off the ground. They're 16 feet long and about 4.5 feet tall, but they're way off the ground. So the tomatoes can grow 6 or 7 feet tall, and this allows me to prune away dead or diseased leaves and harvest easily. As the climate is changing throughout the world, we don't know what we're up against. You might find yourself watching this some summer because you're having an extreme drought and extreme heat and don't know what to do about your suffering tomato plants. So let's swap information, because as the climate is changing, we're all needing to be more creative and sharing information from other growers about how we can have success in our gardens. We're all facing different challenges, and we never know year to year what those challenges are going to be. So please hit subscribe, please like the video, and give me suggestions for future content. Thanks for watching. You're going to want to have a separate valve or schedule for the irrigation, specifically under the shade cloth structure as opposed to the rest of the garden that's in full sun. This way you can control exactly how much moisture and when for its specific needs. You can also do overhead watering occasionally or as your main watering thing, since we don't have all the humidity and diseases that get passed around in humidity. However, I chose drip irrigation. Because tomatoes like slow, deep water and I have heavy clay soil, I elected to use drip irrigation. And this way I can completely control how much water is getting to each plant and not watering in between. I used 5/8 inch polyethylene tubing, which comes on big rolls and is very inexpensive. And then each drip emitter is somewhere around $1. And I used Rainbug 1 gallon per hour. I believe the typical schedule is something like a half hour water every morning. But I can turn it up or down depending on whether it's cooler weather or heat wave. And the tomato plants really need consistent watering so you prevent cracking and a lot of other issues. The mulch is a key element in keeping the roots of the tomato plants cool, and it protects the polyethylene tubing from UV rays and helps cut down the amount of water because it's holding that water that you are giving the plants in the soil. Plus, it's cutting down on weeds. So I would say that mulch is extremely important in keeping your water usage down and keeping the plants healthy. Learn from my mistake. Last year, I grew my tomatoes with the cattle panels in 3-foot wide beds right next to each other, and I couldn't walk around. They were so overgrown and were blowing down in the wind. So this time I decided to interplant with other vegetables that like some shade in my climate, such as sweet peppers or eggplant. And it worked out really well because there's plenty of room to harvest the tomatoes and to see what's going on with their health and take care of all the plants. And the peppers really did well. They did not get a lot of sunburn. So I highly recommend interplanting with vegetables that require some shade. In other areas that I had left over under the shade cloth, I grew insectary plants for beneficial insects and pollinators. So I have milkweed, sage, agastache, marigold, and butterfly torchflower, attracting all these wonderful insects that help the tomatoes. If you have some tried and true varieties that work well for you, stick with those and then try 1 or 2 or 3 new varieties each year and take a lot of notes about how they perform for you because you may find a wonderful surprise. There are also some tomatoes that are called heat set varieties like Heat Master, Sun Pride, and Solar Fire, and I haven't tried them yet, but I'm going to try them next year. You also want to store your seeds properly in a cool, dark area. You want to go through them and get rid of ones that didn't work so that you don't pull it out next year and try them again. Lastly, if you had tomatoes that were healthy plants and produced well and were delicious, you're going to want to save seeds from those tomatoes because they're adapted to your climate, your soils, and your conditions. And that is a much better start than buying the seed from another farmer in another place.